How's it going, everyone? Mega Man here to talk about the Aramusha buffs from the recent patch version 1.18. I'm going to be going over all the changes as well as talking about all the new things that Aramusha can do with these changes. And if you guys want to see the patch notes for yourself, I'm going to have a link to them in the description. Alright, so the first couple changes were to some of his moves in his Blade Blockade. The first of which is the Fury Unleashed move, which is the top heavy. They had the damage increased from 25 to 30, and they also added an uninterruptible stance property to it as well. Now the damage increase is kind of irrelevant, but the fact that it's uninterruptible is pretty useful because if you're getting attacked by multiple opponents, you can kind of use that move as a way to get in really quick damage on an opponent and not have to worry about getting knocked out of your attack. Now the next change was to his Twin Vipers, which is the unblockable side heavies that he does in his Blade Blockade, and the damage is increased from 35 up to 40. Now this is kind of irrelevant because this move is pretty much never guaranteed, but when it is guaranteed you always get a top light afterwards. So essentially the damage went from 35 plus 12 damage up to 40 plus 12 damage. Now the next change was to his Ring the Bell attack, which is the light attack that he does out of his Blade Blockade, and they increased the damage from 10 up to 15, and they also increased the stamina damage from 10 up to 20. So the attack basically does the same damage as his basic light attacks, and the stamina damage is double what it used to be. I'm not sure if it's as good as just normally parrying somebody, but it's at least something. And of course with every patch there's got to be a couple bugs in here. So this one is for his kick, and it doesn't affect the gameplay in any way, it's just a audio bug, but at the very least it's just noticeable enough to kind of annoy me. Now the next change is to his basic side heavies, and they have increased the damage of them from 25 up to 30. Now, if you guys already know, if you ever land a basic side heavy, you always get a top light afterwards, and that top light does 12 damage. So before the patch, he used to get 25 plus 12 damage on a side heavy, now he gets 30 plus 12 damage. Now, I'm not exactly sure if he needs this damage, but I'm not really going to complain about it. Now the next change, and probably the most important change, is that they reduce the startup of his basic top heavy from 700 milliseconds to 600. And the main intention of this was to make it so if he guard broke somebody, he gets a guaranteed top heavy. Now this is very important for Aramusha in this state of the game, but of course with this change it allows Aramusha to do a few other things. So with a faster attack comes faster feints. His top heavy feint is now incredibly fast. I believe it's on par with Gladiator's starting heavy feints. Now this change also affects his heavy parry punish, because when you parry somebody's heavy attack, they are staggered for exactly 600 milliseconds, which is the speed of his top heavy. So if you parry a heavy attack now, you can always get a top heavy without the need of a guard break. Now this is kind of only useful against those longer range characters like Nobushi, Lawbringer, or Kensei, because a lot of times if you parry their heavy attacks they are out of range of a guard break. So at least in this situation you can get a top heavy. But of course if their heavy attack is from the top stance and they have a permanent guard, they will be able to block the heavy attack, so just keep that in mind. And the last thing that Aramusha can do, now that his top heavy is faster, is that he has a new exhausted throw punish. Now this punish can only be done if your opponent is near a wall. And what you need to do is have your guard stance in the top when you guard break them, throw them towards the wall, then you do a top heavy, then a side heavy, and a top light. The top heavy is going to do 25 damage, the side heavy is going to do 33, and the top light is going to do 12, for a total of 70 damage. Now his previous exhausted punish when they're near a wall was a light attack, heavy attack, and a light attack, which was at 60 damage. So now you're getting an additional 10 damage, which makes this on par with his exhausted parry punish. Alright, so that's going to be it for the Aramusha buffs. The last few things on the list were just a couple of bug fixes, one of which was the fact that Aramusha could get guard broken through his light attacks, but that has been fixed now. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. I definitely think Aramusha is a little bit better now in this state of the game, but I think it will be much, much better once they make the defensive meta changes. Let me know what you guys think about Aramusha, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.